Hello, welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, and we're back for some more Warhammer the Old World content, and more importantly, Warhammer the Old World news. We don't get this very often, so let's make the most of it. So we've got the Warhammer Nova Open, which is taking place, and as a result, Games Workshop did a preview, and the preview is the next Old World armies, so it's kind of a bit of a roadmap. So let's see what they have to say. So it's been a whirlwind year so far for Warhammer the Old World, with 5 factions released in less than 8 months, and I have to say that's a pretty quick schedule, quicker than I was kind of expecting, and that really came with the Chaos Warriors. They kind of came quicker than I thought they were going to appear, so that was really quite interesting. So there's loads more to come in the coming months, and no sign the pace is going to let up. Well, that's what they say. Let's check it out. So today we can reveal the next 2 factions coming up for fans of the Old World at the start of 2025. So next to march out against the forces of darkness will be the Empire of Man, bringing with them a host of returning plastic, metal and resin, as well as a collection of totally new models, and an arcane journal bursting with good stuff. Get your Nuln oil ready. Yes, good one, good one. Right, so following a little while behind, delayed by some delicious intrigue at court, are the High Elves. Merworming. So, a merworm. Are we going to see a merworm appear? That could be interesting. Old Forge World monster. Merworming their way back in with a host of classic kits, plus a new nautical character. So, nautical, I don't know, that screams to me Lothern. Of course, you have things like the Lothern Skycutters and the Sea Guard and all of that sort of stuff. So, are we going to see like a dedicated focus on Lothern, maybe as one of those armies of infamy in the Arcane Journal? Quite possibly. And then we've even got this graphic, so let's see if we can take a look at the graphic. There we go, in a bit of a larger light. So, roadmap 2024 so far. Warhammer the Old World launched, long beloved factions returned to the world of legend and have been well received by dedicated fan base. I'd say that's pretty true. I mean, overall for myself, I've enjoyed the rules. I've enjoyed seeing the things that have come back, particularly Bretonnians and Tomb Kings, because I have such big armies of those things. The only downer for me is the legendary factions, which didn't make it in because, Skaven, Vampire Counts, all of those really, really cool. So that's my only major downer so far, and the pace of release has been pretty good. So still to come, 2024, Dwarven Mountain Holds take to the field of battle once more. So we've already seen the initial waves of those. And then Warriors of Chaos, which was announced as a pre-order for the coming weekend. So Warriors of Chaos March to War with a battalion box set and more to follow. And then it goes and beyond, even more to come in 2025. Well, I should hope there's more to come in 2025 because we're still 4 factions short, 9 factions in total. So at the beginning of 2025, as it said above, Empire of Man and then the High Elves to come. We can only dream of having something like Elspeth on Carmine Dragon. I'm pretty sure she doesn't fit the timeline, but that was such a cool model. Please release it anyway. But Empire of Man and High Elves. So that leaves, so it says more factions afterwards. Well, that leaves Beastmen and Wood Elves, and they kind of fit together. If you think about actually the biggest threat to the Wood Elves is Beastmen in the forests of Athel Loren. So actually you could see like a whole thing around Beastmen and Wood Elves as well. So, given they've released 5 factions in this year, I can absolutely see by the end of next year we will have all of the factions released for Warhammer the Old World. So that'll be a really good place to be. And I think the end of 2025, or that sort of last quarter of 2025, is going to be really interesting for me as what's going to happen once the factions are released? Are we going to see like this period of just settling in, the occasional model, some FAQs, that sort of, are we going to see a new wave? Are we going to see, any type of updates? And if we're going to get any news on those legacy factions, it will be the end of 2025. Right. So if there is going to be a change, I think it's going to be then. If we don't see something at the end of 2025 for legacy factions, I think that the chances of them happening in the short term is definitely out the window. And I'm just talking about news. I'm not talking about releases. I'm talking about news that, hey, yes, we've seen the player base and how big it's become, and how popular it is, and actually, yes, we can see value in doing vampire counts, Skaven, and that sort of stuff. So, if we don't see that at the end of 2025, I think that's going to be then way out, if it ever happens, right? If it ever happens, it's going to be way out to the back end of the decade, 28 to 30 period of time. But like I say, end of 2025, I think it's going to be a really interesting place. We're going to have all the factions, Warhammer the Old World. We should have all the FAQs. It says army boxes, heroes, plastic, metal, and resin. Yeah, well, that's obvious. It's what happens to the game once the factions are out. I think that's going to be the key. So, but that's all we know. That's all we know so far. So, with the old world still fearing the arrival of a chaos incursion, which is on pre-order this weekend with a further wave to come, there's never been a better time to join the fray. Look forward to a Warhammer preview in the near future when you'll be able to hitch up your war wagons, very cool, and see some of the new and returning Empire kit. So based upon that, I think before Christmas, we're going to see some previews of what is coming for the Empire. And I think that's going to be good because Empire have got a pretty big and diverse roster. There's plenty of units that aren't in the Force of Fantasy army list. So I think there's lots that we could see there. So very, very interesting indeed. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the current Warhammer the Old World roadmap that was released. This article posted today as part of the Nova Open preview of a whole bunch of other Warhammer things. So, and you can find this article obviously on the Warhammer Community website, which will be linked in the comments down below. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comments down below. If you want to see more content, hit that subscribe button. Free for you to do, big deal for me. So thank you for that in advance. Well, we're currently in the middle of the Bretonnian faction focus, and after the Bretonnians, we will be delving into the High Elves as a faction, and we've already covered the Empire of Man. So the two new factions, we will have faction focuses on both. So one of them is out, and we'll have the High Elf faction focus out well before it's released. So always good. Warriors of Chaos still a way off because we're doing all the Force of Fantasy book first, and then we're going to cover the Ravening Hordes book. So you've been watching The Ghost Hour. Tune back in for more Warhammer the Old World content. It's coming out very, very soon.